is used. We're just going to cut short there. They go on to some other garbage. We're just going to say every element in the range is used. So the one I just drew up here, this is why I added the 20 for this example. What element is not being used here in the range? 16. So this is not considered an onto function. It's a one-to-one, but it's not onto because you have an answer that's not being used over here. Okay. So an onto function is a domain. We'll just go A, B, C this time. Is there a range? We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So now if I match them up, C would have to go to 2 of them, right? To make it an onto. I did it backwards. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to page 61, and we'll look at some of these first questions here and see how they ask them. So these are bubble charts. There we go. Okay. So the question that you're going to have, your first set of questions, is going to say state the domain and range. The domain is which variable? Independent, X or Y? X. Domain is X, range is Y. So if it's ordered pairs like this, it's going to be pretty simple with that. Then determine whether each relation is a function. If it is a function, determine if it's one-to-one, onto, both, or neither. Okay, so we'll look and see what that looks like here. So when they give you ordered pairs, notice the domain is just going to be the X values. Okay? So they just went down through these X values. -6, -5, -3, -1, 6. They wrote them down. Okay? The range is just the Y values. Okay? Now notice there's only 4 Y values. So there must be a repeat of one, right? Is that right there? So switch this around so I can write on it. So if you look right there and there, we have a -9 that repeats. So how many times did they write it down? Once. So if you have something that repeats, you write it down once. Okay, so is it a function? Does every element here go to one specific answer over here? Does every question have one answer? So the sharing here is okay. So if X is -6, how many answers do you have? One answer, the answer is -1. If X is -5, how many answers do you have? One answer. Okay, X is -3, you have one answer. -1, you have one answer. 6, you have. Where you would have an issue is if you have -5, -9, then you have -5, -7. So if the X's repeat, then it's not a function. But this one is a function because the X values do not repeat and everyone has exactly one answer. That's why it says yes, because each element of the domain is paired with one element of the range. Now, is it a one-to-one function? No. So that is not one-to-one because you have repeating Y values. So this one was yes because you have no repeating X values. So that's why it's yes, because there's not any repeating X values. Okay? Onto. Yes. Because each element here has a question. So onto kind of flips the situation around. Each element there has a question. Okay, what about this? -2. Okay. What repeats?
-2.
-2. Is there a domain? Yeah. You can still have a domain. The domain would be -2, 0, and 2. The range would be 1, 4, and 8. Okay. So since it's not a function, it can't be 1 to 1 or 2 like that. Is that okay? So there's going to be more ways, and we'll look at more of this tomorrow. We have a few more vocab. There's a lot of vocab usually in these first sections of each chapter. We got the biggest of vocab, but there's going to be other things that we have to look at. Tables, when it's a chart, when it's more bubbles like that. But we'll practice more of that tomorrow. We have a couple minutes here. Okay. So go ahead and get the assignment written down. It'll be this one right here. We will wrap up the notes tomorrow, and this will be due on Monday.